Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the 2011 Farmers Branch Veterans Day celebration. Please welcome the chairwoman of the Farmers Branch Senior Advisory Board, Ms. Katie Roberts.
Good morning, everybody. I have to stand on my tiptoes. Isn't this room beautiful? And all of you make it look even more beautiful with you in it. I want to just, as the chairwoman of the Senior Advisory Board, I want to thank you all for coming, welcome you here, and I hope you enjoy the program today. I feel privileged to be able to welcome all of you, and thank you for being here.
Good morning and welcome to the 12th Annual Farmers Branch Veterans Day celebration right here in this beautiful, as Katie just said a few minutes ago, in this beautiful senior center, paid for by taxes from Dahl and everybody else in the city, and it's your senior center, and we appreciate you doing that. We're here today for one reason, and that's in honor of the men and women in uniform and those that continue to wear the uniform of the United States military. You have sacrificed of yourselves to ensure our way of life is safeguarded and freedom for us every day. You are our real-life heroes, and whether you're assigned to a desk in Arlington, Virginia, or whether you stood on that volcanic rock in Iwo Jima some 70 years ago, it is your commitment that makes our country great, and we salute each and every one of you. Now, I'd like to go back in time a little bit to the Gettysburg Address by President Abraham Lincoln. He had such great words of inspiration about our military service, and this is part of what he said, and I'll quote that. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggle here have consecrated us far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, not long remember what we have here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather than to be dedicated here in the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us here, dedicated to great tasks remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall never perish from this earth. And that's, unquote, President Abraham Lincoln, words of dedication and what he thought about the military. And it's really one of the most outstanding parts of the Gettysburg Address I've ever heard. And this is so true. Our military veterans give us a new birth of freedom each and every day. We wake up in a free country, and we have you to thank for this freedom. Now, if you have served or serving proudly in uniform, please stand up and let us honor you. Thank you very much. Now, likewise, if you're a family member of a military veteran or current service member, you too have sacrificed to keep our country free. Would you also stand up and be recognized? Thank you again. You know, it's great to look out over this audience and see what the veterans have done. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the family. Because I remember when the parents of many in the military were overseas during World War II and other eras of the wars, what the foundation was, and that was home. And that's what most of the ladies did at that time. They took care of home until their loved ones could come back. We really appreciate that. We got a pretty good, wonderful program for you today. In fact, it's outstanding. with words of wisdom and songs of celebration. Now I'd like to call on our city's chaplain, Brother Eddy Ketchersid, for this morning's invocation. Brother Eddy.
I'm going to ask you to use your imagination for just a few moments with me. It is June the 6th, 1944. President Franklin D. Roosevelt will speak to the nation, but more than that, he will lead the nation in prayer. 57,000 Americans and 75,000 British and Canadian troops are in a bloody battle to establish 5 beachheads on the coast of Normandy. The President speaks. My fellow Americans, last night when I spoke to you about the fall of Rome, I knew at that moment that our troops of the United States and our allies were crossing the English Channel in another greater operation. It has come to pass with success thus far. And so, in this pungent hour, I ask you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. Lead them straight and true. Give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfastness to their faith. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard, for the enemy is strong. He will hurl back our forces. Success may not come with rushing speed, but we shall return again and again, and we know that by thy grace and by the righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph. They will be sore tried by night and by day, without rest until the victory is won. The darkness will be rent by noise and flame. Men's souls will be shaken with the violence of war, for these men are lately drawn from their homes of peace. They fight not for the lust of conquest. They fight to end conquest. They fight to liberate. They fight to let justice arise and tolerance and goodwill among all thy people. They yearn but for the end of battle, for their return to the haven of home. Some will never return. Embrace them, Father, and receive them, thy heroic servants, into thy kingdom. And for us at home, fathers, mothers, children, wives, sisters, brothers, and brave men overseas, whose thoughts and prayers are ever with them, help us, Almighty God, to rededicate ourselves to renewed faith in thee in this hour of great sacrifice. Give us strength in our daily task, to redouble the contributions we make in the physical and material support of our armed forces, and let our hearts be stout, to wait out the long travail, to bear sorrows that may come, to impart our courage into our sons wherever they may be. And, O Lord, give us faith. Give us faith in thee, faith in our sons, and faith in each other, and faith in our united crusade. Let the keenness of our spirits never be dulled. Let not the impacts of temporary events and temporal matters that are so fleeting, let not these deter us from our unconquerable purpose. With thy blessing, we shall prevail over the unholy forces of evil. Let us and help us to conquer the apostles of creed and the racial arrogances. Lead us to the saving of our country and to our sister nations into a world of unity that will spell a sure peace, a peace invulnerable to the schemes of unworthy men, and at peace we will let all men live in freedom, reaping the just rewards of their holy toil. Thy will be done, Almighty God. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Eddie. If you would stand, we will now have R.L. Turner, School Honor Guard, giving us the Honor Guard, post the colors. Please be seated. Now we have a special video presentation for you. After that will be a reading of a very special poem. Will you please direct your attention to the screen?
3 teens were arrested today for defacing the Kensington Park War Memorial overnight. The destruction includes painted messages against the military and the war in the Middle East. The 3 teens were picked up in the early morning hours after evidence was left at the scene.
Grandpa, something wrong?
Some people sure have short memories, and those who are too young to know need to be taught. Come on, I want to show you guys something.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped off the British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. 225 came here. After 2 days of fighting, only 90 could still bear arms. These are the boys of Puente Lobo. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. You are men who in your, quote, lives fought for life and left the vivid air signed with your honor.
In the name of God and country, I learned to defy gravity.
To honor my family,
I lived in the belly of a beast.
I fixed the hearts of iron monsters.
I became a worm in the mud for dignity.
For honor. For righteousness' sake. For God and country.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
For you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you. I fought for you.
I fought for you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
For you. I fought for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you, and I'd do it again.
And so
I am the flag. I wave from countless poles and pillars and rooftops and housetops, from sea to shining sea. But I am more than cloth and thread. I'm called Old Glory and the Stars and Stripes. But I am more than can be expressed in a name. I have graced offices and homes and hats and buttons and ballparks, from Little League diamonds to Major League stadiums. I've sailed on ships and flown into space. I've been pledged by presidents and by school children who endearingly stumble over the word indivisible, but are always clear and resolute on the words under God. I've been carried into battle by young and old. I've seen the victory of those fighting under me, and I have tenderly borne those who have given what Lincoln described as the last full measure of devotion to their final rest. Through the haze, Francis Scott Key saw me flying over Fort McHenry. I was there at Fort Sumter and at Appomattox and at Pearl Harbor and at Iwo Jima and on Omaha Beach. And on one fateful Tuesday in September, I was planted on hallowed ground in the midst of smoke and tears to serve notice to the world that my people will not be deterred in their quest to live for freedom. Indeed, I have wept at half-mast for the fallen, but I have never failed to fly proudly for the brave. But I'm more than a shield, more than a symbol. I'm the spirit found in the written words of Jefferson and the spoken words of Lincoln, and in the music of George Gershwin, and the architecture of Frank Lloyd Wright, and in the art of Norman Rockwell, and in the imagination of Walt Disney, and in the sparkling eyes of every American child that begins every school day by standing beside their desk and placing their hand over their heart. I am that spirit that exemplifies the very nature of hope, endeavor, and freedom that continue to serve as a beacon to the world. And after more than 200 years, I have traveled from the 18th century parlor of a Philadelphia seamstress to the surface of the moon. And I still wave proudly over the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Now, would you please stand and join with me in Ruben Guerrero, third grade student from Farmers Branch Elementary School, while we recite our pledge to the greatest flag in the world, our flag of 50 shining stars in a sea of blue, 13 broad stripes, 7 red, 6 white. Tradition holds that World War I ending on November 11th at 11 a.m. Today, at the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month in the 11th year, we pause for a moment of silence and we will have taps. And I'd just like to repeat that starting tomorrow morning, it will be another 100 years before anybody can say the 4 fours. So you have something to have, remember, and if you always remember where you were at the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month, and 11th year. Thank you, Captain Hancock. Yeah, boy, that doesn't touch hard. I know it will. I'm sorry. We're always pleased to have young people with us on this special day. Today, the third graders from the Farmers Branch Elementary School have created postcards for our veterans here today as a way to thank them for their service to us. Here's what we're going to do. We'd like all veterans to raise your hands and keep them up until one of those students gives you a postcard. Students, please go ahead and start passing them out. If you want to be seated, please be seated. We're going to let the students keep passing out the postcards while we continue through the program. And now I would like to introduce a good friend of mine, the Mayor of the City of Farmers Branch, the Honorable Bill Glancy. Bill. Thank you, Charlie. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here this morning. You know, I was born in January of 1941, so I have a limited memory of World War II, but, you know, as we think back about our life, there are events that you can think of were probably the first thing that you remember as a child. And the first event that I remember is that my cousin's wife, who was living with us at that time, came running in from the mailbox, sobbing mercifully. Our cousin, who was in the Normandy invasion, had been killed on June the 25th, in the final attack on Cherbourg. And that is the first event that I remember in my life, and was a very carrying thing that had a great impact on our family. And I can remember Ernestine and her son Jackie. It had an impact on their whole life. They're both gone now, but it was a terrible sacrifice that our families put forward at that time. You know, I think it's great that we are recognizing our military today. You know, after World War II, we've never had total war like we had at that point. If you remember Korea, Vietnam, unless our families were directly involved in that, we didn't have a lot of connection with that. But the people who were involved had great sacrifice. And I think it's certainly behooving us to recognize all of our military people today and the sacrifices they make for our country. So thank you. But it is my pleasure to introduce one of my great friends who has been a public servant for this community for years and years. And it's Jim Jackson has been our state representative since 2004. Prior to that, Jim was county commissioner for many years, and I know Jim and I have had many conversations over the years about county government, and I think he did a wonderful job in our county of keeping taxes down and trying to keep things in order down there. And I think the experience that he had at that went a long ways when he went down to Austin, because he was on the judicial committee down there, and a lot of the things that you didn't hear about, but I think our judicial system is a lot better because Jim Jackson served in our state representative. And Jim and the family is, you know, Sue, who was a school teacher in our school system for many, many, many years. Both of them have put great sacrifice. And I think Jim has that rare quality of a politician, which is kind of unique today, that he has a great ability to listen. He has a great ability to take the information that he's heard and take it to a government entity and use common sense in the application of that knowledge that he's heard. And so in this day and age of, it's easy for us to complain about politicians, and it's slow for us to recognize the accomplishments of our politicians. I think Jim has stood above that, and it's certainly my pleasure to now introduce you to my friend Jim Jackson. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. That's for that kind introduction. I told Bill earlier that you learn in public life that you can never live up to the expectations and the beliefs of how good you are of your friends, nor are you ever as bad as your enemies claim. Thank you, Bill. Thank the rest of you who have participated in this program so far today. Brother Eddie, your inspiring words, and the Honor Guard, and Charlie, and Smooth Brew, and Mr. Hancock, and all the good words and good presentations you have given. Thank you for that, and I thank all of you for this opportunity to help honor American veterans on this day set aside for that purpose. As you probably know, Veterans Day was originally Armistice Day, on which America celebrated the cessation of fighting of World War I. Although the official end of World War I was June 28, 1919, the armistice, or when fighting ceased, was on the 11th day of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. In November 1919, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November the 11th Armistice Day, and Congress later passed legislation making it a national holiday. In 1954, after American veterans had fought World War II and aggression in Korea, the 83rd Congress passed legislation to change our Armistice Day to Veterans Day, and November the 11th became the day to honor all American veterans. So, as Charlie said, this is the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 2011. And as he also said, it happens only once a century. On this Veterans Day, this special Veterans Day, many events like this are occurring across America, and many speakers, some as incapable as I am, are struggling to find words to give deserved respect and proper emphasis to the debt that most Americans know we owe our veterans, past and present, young and old, those who have fallen and their families. As I pondered what to say today, I thought of those times in life, those, I call them precious moments, when we forget our fears, when we forget our anger and disagreements, our differences as Americans, when we turn off the hollow protest of those few who disown our country and desecrate our flag. Those moments brought on by being aware of the great heritage of our many blessings, maybe resulting from singing the national anthem together as we have today, or pledging allegiance to the flag, or hearing taps, or by the flag passing by. Those moments when our hearts swell and our eyes moist. And let me say, if your heart hasn't swelled and your eyes moist yet today, you need to go to your doctor. You need to have somebody see if you're alive. Those precious moments when we stand as one people, as one nation, united, proud but humble, giving thanks to God. Also, these times when we honor our veterans, when we come together to celebrate their honor, courage, commitment, loyalty, sacrifices, and bravery. These times, these moments are too few. Every day we should have such moments. Every day should be Veterans Day. Every day we should spend some time, some peaceful moments, thanking God for America and honoring those who have fallen, those who have served to win the peace, those who have served to keep the peace, and those who are yet today in harm's way. I do not have the words. No words are adequate. There are no words, however well or poorly delivered, to capture the full wonder of these special moments, or to fully and properly convey our appreciation, our esteem, our honor to those we call veterans. As Charlie quoted earlier, almost 148 years ago today, on November the 19th, 1863, in a very different place, in a very different time, under very different circumstances, President Abraham Lincoln delivered the now famous Gettysburg Address. Some of what he said was obviously incorrect. For as Charlie said, he said that the world will little note nor long remember what we say. The world has remembered. And from his words, let us remember that it still remains for us to be dedicated to an unfinished work, to a great task before us, so that those who have and will serve, even died, have not and do not do so in vain. That we do not lose or forfeit our faith, our freedom, or our hopes. That this great nation under God, shall preserve freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. Thank you, veterans. May God bless you. May God bless America. And may God bless this great state of Texas. And may we all have more of those precious moments when we understand the blessings of being an American and the blessing of having fellow citizens willing to give their all so that we can continue to enjoy the fruits of being an American. Thank you, veterans. Thank you.
As most of you know, that when you're elected to an official office, automatically you start getting the mail and you wonder why they put on Honorable Charlie Berg, Honorable somebody else, I won't mention other names, and you just wonder, well, why did they put Honorable in there? Well, I'll tell you one thing, why they put it on Jim Jackson. He's earned it. He's earned the Honorable Jim Jackson. We've always appreciated you. And there's a few things that you should know about Jim Jackson, is the fact that he wants to spend more time with his family and grandchildren, and he told me it'd be all right, since he's already done it someplace, because I've heard it before, that he served 30 years as your county commissioner, 30 years. And now next year he'll finish out 3 terms, which is 6 years, as a House representative, and that's 36 years of dedicated service to each and every one of us. And next year he will be fine, well, unless we do a write-in vote, he's not going to run again. So we want to thank you for years, and I tell you, we really appreciate you. I love the word honorable for you. "36 years, wow. We've had many different musical groups in here through probably 12 years now. To bring us patriotic sayings, patriotic readings, patriotic songs. And today is no different. As a cappella quartet, Smooth Brew is true to the barbershop style of music. You're gonna have to help me on some of this. But they also have a love of doo-wop. Doo-wop. Who knows everybody? Doo-wop. With a little jazz, and I said jazz thrown in. Now I know you're gonna love it, so here's Smooth Brew.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. There's a feeling come a-stealing, and it sets my brain a-reeling when I'm listening to the music of a military band. Any tune like Yankee Doodle simply sets me off my noodle. It's that patriotic something that no one can understand. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Honest, you're a grand old flag. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Keep your eye on the grand old flag. Grand old flag. Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. From sea to shining sea. America, 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 America.
Well, thank you very much. We're very pleased to be here today to help Farmers Branch celebrate their Veterans Day. It's great to see all the folks here. Great to see all the kids over here, too. It kind of lowers the average age in the room a little bit to have them here, all of us old folks up here. What better way than to start a program with that march-like tune of George M. Cohan, Your Grand Old Flag. Kind of gets your blood stirring, get the flags out waving. And of course, America the Beautiful, it describes our country so well that in fact, some people have really wanted to make that our national anthem because it describes our country and everything about our country so very well. We've got a couple more patriotic songs for you next. The second one is a relatively newcomer compared to most of our patriotic songs, which date back to the beginning of the last century or even before that. This one was written in 1984 by Lee Greenwood, and it's rapidly become a very, very touching song to all of us. So that's our second song, but before that, we've got another one that describes very well America and our feelings about America. And in fact, in the dark days after 9/11, it's said that when Congress was meeting in a joint session, after they broke up one evening, they all came out to the Capitol steps and broke out in a rendition of our first song because it just kind of seemed right.
For this is my country, America, my home sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, and on to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. America, 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 my home.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
We really, truly are very proud to be Americans, and we salute and thank every one of our veteran men and women in the military who has sacrificed so much, everything from the very little to the ultimate sacrifice. Our fighting force in this U.S. is no doubt the best, the finest in the whole world. Right? We'd also like to pay tribute, though, to another role that our military plays. They are, without a doubt, the best peacekeepers in the world as well. And that's seen perhaps in the doctors and nurses and medics of the USNS Comfort and USNS Mercy. These are converted oil tankers that are now floating hospitals, the best you'll ever find in any city in the U.S. What they do is go out, provide humanitarian aid and medical treatment for underdeveloped countries. It's also seen in the 5,000 men and women of the USS Reagan. On this aircraft carrier, this last tour of duty, they didn't come back in September into their home port of San Diego playing war games. What they did is they came back from a tour of duty in the Far East. They spent 6 months providing relief efforts to the Japanese for the worst earthquake ever to hit that country. So our next couple of songs pay tribute to the fact that the U.S. is the greatest peacekeeping country in the world as well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brothers in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me, begin with me, begin with me, with me, begin with me. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever.
Back in 1941, war clouds were gathering around the world, and the U.S. knew that sin would be at war. They also knew that they're sending young men and women, 18, 19-year-olds, out into foreign lands. They'd never been there before. They'd be far away from home. They needed to provide some way to provide entertainment, encouragement, support. So in 1941, the USO was formed. And there's one man, when I say USO, you think of. Who is that? Bob Hope, absolutely. Bob latched onto this not months after the USO was formed, and for the next 60 years, he was right out there in front providing entertainment around the world for our military men and women. So we've got a couple of songs that would be right at home on one of Bob's USO show, and I'd like you to kind of just sit back and imagine yourself war-torn, war-weary GIs coming in out of the war zone, coming in for a little bit of entertainment. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the USO show.
Pass me by one summer day, flash those big brown eyes my way, and oh, I wanted you forevermore. Now, baby, I'm that one that gets around, swear my feet stuck to the ground, and oh, I never did meet you before. I said, hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart. I said, sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I'm in love with Mary Lou. I knew, Mary Lou, that we'd never part, so hello, Mary Lou, goodbye, heart, goodbye, heart. Saw your lips, I heard your voice, believe me, I just had no choice, wild horses couldn't make me stay away. Thought about a moonlit night, arms about you good and tight, that's all I need to see for me to say, hey, hey, hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart. I said, sweet Mary Lou, I'm so in love with you. I'm in love with Mary Lou. Mary Lou, we'd never part. We'd never part. So hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Goodbye, heart. Hello, Mary Lou. I'm in love with you. Yes, hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Right from the start, I said hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. She just got here yesterday. Oh, yeah. Things are hot here now, they say. There's a big change in town, and all of the gals are jealous, there's no doubt. Still the fellas rave about my sweet, oh so sweet, Georgia Brown, Georgia. Got a a shade on sweet Georgia Brown. 2 left feet, but oh so neat as sweet Georgia Brown. They all sigh and wanna die for sweet Georgia Brown. I tell you just why, you know I don't lie, not me, not much. Well, it's been said she knocks 'em dead when she lands in town. Since she came, why, it's a shame how she cools 'em down. Fellas she can't get, or fellas she ain't met. Georgia claimed her, Georgia named her sweet Georgia Brown. You know that all those tips the porter slips to sweet Georgia Brown. Wow, she buys clothes at fashion shows with $1 down. Oh boy, tip your hats, oh joy, she's the cat. Who's that Mr. Tain't my sister, sweet my ever-loving, sweet little Georgia Brown, the best gal in town, my honey, sweet ever-loving, sweet Miss Georgia Brown.
Now the moment you've all been waiting for. We've got a medley of songs for each of the military branches. And what we'd like for you to do is when you hear that particular military branch, if you are active duty, you've served in that branch, if you have a loved one or a family member that served in that branch of the military, I want you to stand. And continue standing throughout the rest of the melody. We're going to start off with Army. We're going to go on to Navy, then Coast Guard, Air Force, and finally the Marine Corps. So here is our medley for the Armed Forces.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. Then it's hi, hi, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, hut, 2, 3. For wherever you go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, high Coast Guard, we are for you. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Head 'em, boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, the United States Marines. sun. From the lakes, from the hills, from the sky, all is well, safely rest. God is nigh.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I know why they call him Smooth Brew. I understand the smooth part. I can't quite understand the brew part. But there's the reason for it. And one other thing, I don't want you to think that I paid this group anything other than compliments. But you notice the melodies, how they were handled. You know, I'm a United States Marine. We have General Garza right there, sitting right there, right behind us. General, thank you for your service during your time. And it's as usual, and don't disrespect any services, but the Marines always come and clean things up. I just want to know that. Thank you. That's a good thing I'm not running for office. You know. As much as we celebrate our veterans every year, we also want to be sure we commemorate the special anniversaries that they come to us. Wednesday, December 7th is no different. And we want to invite you to come at Liberty Plaza. The mayor will be there and his lovely wife, for a short ceremony celebrating the 70th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. This program will begin at 10 o'clock right behind the Star Center in Liberty Plaza. We'd love to have each and every one of you there that day for a little time just to celebrate and honor those who went to war for us. Now, it's going to be hard. The whole program's hard, I tell you. We get you right here. I'm looking at Bill down there, and he says, yes, yes, and I agree with him 100%. In fact, we agree nearly about everything. I would be remiss if I did not mention that we have a military language, an MIA person, which in military terms, language, most everybody knows, missing in action. For 25 years, Francis Stover was a part of the Farmers Branch family, coordinating 1,000 details that go on all these special events for the years. She's done this for many years. Her work is the reason that so many people know and remember Farmers Branch by our special events. In fact, the mayor also recognized the fact, along with Gary Greer, our city manager, that they have dedicated the entire year to all events in honor of Francis. We lost Francis this summer, taken away from us far too soon, leaving behind a husband and 2 beautiful children and dozens of extended family members, which are here, of the family branch of the Farmers Branch city staff. When you think of this and other events in Farmers Branch, and he brings a smile to your face, we know you'll think of Francis, a lovely person. In closing, I want to thank the companies and organizations and personnel that helped make today possible. I'd like these folks to stand, and please remain standing if you're able or you want to. And the fact that definitely hold your applause until it's all over, please. Mayor Bill Glancy and the Farmers Branch City Council, would you please stand, sir? Our volunteers from the Farmers Branch Senior Advisory Board and the Farmers Branch Rotary Club. Our chaplain, Brother Eddy Ketchersid. Captain Warren Hancock, who played the taps. The R.L. Turner High School Honor Guard. Farmers Branch Elementary Grade School. Veterans of Foreign War, post number 8923 of Farmers Branch and Carrollton. The Coca-Cola Bottling Company of North Texas. the Veterans Day Committee that organized all of this. And now, may we give them a big applause.